and he tattletales to his father. So he tells these tales about his brothers. He has a special coat, and then he has these dreams that make him look much better than his brothers. And the brothers come to hate Yosef. It says they look at him and they hate him because they know that he is the favored son. And it says they could not, the verse is often translated as they couldn't speak peaceably to him, they couldn't say a kind word to him. But Rabbi Sacks, quoting Rabbi Yonatan Ibershatz, says that the literal translation should be, they could not speak him to peace. Velu yachalu dabru l'shalom. So what does that mean? Rabbi Sacks explains that what this means is that they could not bring their problems to Yosef and address their problems. It's not that they couldn't speak nice to him, they couldn't approach him to say what was on their mind that might have resolved their problem. And what happened is the anger continued to grow until they literally hated Yosef. And they wanted to kill him, but they can't kill him because he is of their own flesh and blood. So let's throw him into a pit, and let's sell him into slavery. And then let's tell our father, by presenting him with the coat of many colors soaked in blood, that his son, his favorite son, is dead. It doesn't really get much worse than that. So this is a problem with lack of communication. Rabbi Ibershatz quotes the pasuk in Vayikra, the book of Leviticus, the 19th chapter, the 17th verse, where it says that it says that you shall not hate your brother in your heart. You shall surely reprimand your neighbor. And the Rambam says that also that when you have a problem with someone, you talk to them and say, this is what you've done to offend me, and if they apologize, then that's it. But what you don't do is hold the anger in you, so that the anger builds to the point where you're ready to kill your own brother. And in your relationships, this is very important. Because say you're working as a psychologist, just finishing your master's degree, and you come home from a long day of seeing psychotic patients at a mental hospital. But there's things that your wife wants to talk about, and there's things that you want to talk about. But it's much easier to say, you know what, this thing that he's doing really bothers me, but I'm not going to bring it up, because I just want to have a peaceful dinner. And there's some things that my wife is doing that bother me, and it's just, why can't we just have peace? And I don't want to give her a hard time. She struggled all day with the children, or he struggled all day with the children, so let's just have a nice dinner, and let's not talk about it. And then something else comes up that bothers you about each other, and you don't talk about it. And something comes up about your in-laws that you don't like, chas v'shalom, and that you don't talk about it, because it's much easier not to talk about it than it is to have real, genuine, sometimes difficult, painful conversations. But when you don't do that, the anger will grow between you. And it eventually comes to a head. And the snakes that are hiding, as Jordan Peterson would say, hiding beneath the carpets, hiding in the closet, hiding in a drawer, those snakes, those problems eventually grow up and become dragons. And the dragons are not possible to be slain, because you couldn't deal with those snakes as they came up. Eventually the problem gets too large, and then you find yourself in a really big problem. It is much better to talk about the problems as they come up, even if it's painful, even if it means that your quiet dinner is going to be interrupted by difficult conversation. It is better not to let things go just to have peace in your house. You have to address the problems as they come up, to have legitimate, sometimes difficult conversations. W.B. Yeats in The Second Coming said that, he said, the way that you could describe this when it starts to go wrong, he says, turning and turning in the widening gyre, the falcon cannot hear the falconer. Things fall apart. The center cannot hold. When you are least expecting it and least capable of dealing with a problem that you are wanting to avoid, that problem will come and smack you, and you will not be able to deal with it. If you've avoided it, the thing that you fear most, which can be a relationship problem, can come and hit you if you've allowed your communication to suffer. If you've neglected your conversation in resolving things that you want to talk to your spouse about, but you feel like you can't, or you don't want to because it's difficult, it will grow and grow, and then it will become insurmountable. So the simple explanation, the simple teaching is don't go to bed angry, but it's much wider than that. As things come up, the socks that are in the drawer with holes in them that bother the Rebbitzin, you have to address it. The things that he's doing, the things that she's doing, don't say it's just easier not to talk about it, because it is in the short run. But in the end, it's painful, as we see with Yosef and other stories. You have to address the problems as they come up. That is my best advice to you. Do not let the problems grow the way the Shvatim did, because it ends in pain. Better to avoid the pain with having a little bit of pain now than having much greater pain in the future, because you've been remiss in your wanting this to resolve conflicts between each other.